are back here on the Art Fort Lauderdale podcast, episode 6, with local artist Jacki Rosen, aka Stash Studio, where we're located right now. If you didn't know about Art Fort Lauderdale, we produce the first art fair on the water that takes place in luxury waterfront homes off the Los Olas Intercoastal Waterways. We make it only accessible via boat. Don't worry, we provide the boat. It's a great opportunity to discover local artists like Jacki, to have a leisurely day on the water, touring some beautiful luxury waterfront homes in Fort Lauderdale. And it's something that we feel very excited about, and creating a platform to have our local artists highlight and showcase works in ways they've never showcased before, and have you, a member of the community, a traveler, an art collector, or all the above, interact with art in ways that you've never interacted with art before, seeing it in a home, in a setting where art ultimately lives. The objective of the podcast here is also to connect you guys with the talented artists that participate in Art Fort Lauderdale, so you can get to better know their stories, their backgrounds, and some of the works that you'll be able to see in the fair. So without much further ado, why don't you tell us a little bit about Jacki Rosen and the Stash Studio?
Okay, my name is Jacki Rosen, and I started Stash Studio just a few months ago. I started painting less than a year ago. I was a curator and a museum director about 30 years ago, went into design, and then ended up opening a boutique. So all kind of aesthetic, pursuits. And when I was opening up my boutique, during that time, after about the 6.5 year, my daughter took to me to one of those, sip and paints. So I did a Modigliani, and I did a Modigliani that looked like no other Modigliani. It was like street art, and it was funky, and the teacher said to me, "Whoa." I said, "Really? Like, whoa, icky?" Or like, "Whoa, okay?" She goes, "No, whoa, pretty amazing. You should paint." So I said, "Oh, right. I used to be a judge. I judged all Florida. I curated shows that were international." And I said, "I can't put a brush to canvas. Who the hell am I?" So my daughter pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. So we used to have Sunday like fun days, and we would paint. And all of a sudden, I would go into my store that I worked very hard to create, and I would sneak in canvases and paints, and I hired people, so I would sit in my office and lock the door and start painting, and I watched YouTube videos, and I painted and painted and painted and painting. My lease came up, and I said, "I am out of here. This is what I want to do. I'm not into selling Chanel. All of these things do not appeal to me." As my friends say, I went from Prada to damn nada. And now, I can't help myself. It is the best thing, and my whole mission is, through my art, is to show people that, guess what? You ever want to be a musician when you were a kid? Pick up an instrument. Play for an hour. You want to be an artist? Pick up some craft paints, some canvases, and play. You ever want to be a writer? Start journaling. A lawyer? Become an advocate. Like, it really dawned on me that at my age, I could reinvent myself, which I have done for every 7 years, but I certainly wasn't expecting it to be it. So I opened a studio. I've been doing well. I love what I'm doing. Art Fort Lauderdale is something that I never thought that I would be able to achieve in such a quick period of time. And it is curated by very fine curators. And I understand really what art is and what art isn't. And I wasn't sure where I fell into that category. And when my piece was selected, I must have called 3 times to say, no, Jacki Rosen, the Stash Studio. I am so psyched because I went last year and it was pretty much the best day of my life. The artwork that is selected is magnificent. The homes are beautiful. It showcases everything in such a way that you can really, really get a feel of what these pieces would look like, and you get to interact with the artists. They get to talk to you about what is their mission. Get a lot of information, and what could be more fun than a day in a beautiful South Florida, on the water, drinking champagne, laughing, meeting really interesting people that are interested in the arts, or a rare breed, and interesting and phenomenal. So that was the greatest day, and very proud of Eric for putting this whole thing together. It's a really big job, and he's done a beautiful, just an amazing job with it.
And we're glad to hear that from your perspective, because I don't think I've had really anybody, maybe actually Victoria Sheridan, that has worked with museums that is also now involved in the fair. So talk to us a little bit about your, the museums you've been involved in and the kind of art world experience that you had prior to becoming an artist.
Okay, so before I became an artist and before the boutique, like I said, I curated and I had a museum in I had a gallery in Williams Island. It was by invitation only, and I sold Warhol, Basquiat, Lichtenstein, Henry Moore, anyone that you can think about that was a high-end pop artist or a very fine photographer, Yulesman and such. And that was amazing. Had I purchased those pieces when I couldn't afford them, but that was just, I was in my 20s and that was a great, great opportunity. And so I think the fact that I've been looking at art for so very long and never let go of that love and reading, and so I've been looking at, so I think that I've created like an amalgamation of my favorite artists into my own kind of genre.
Interesting.
So you'll see some Basquiat, you'll see a little Picasso, you'll see definitely some the Basquiat influence of the street art, and I've kind of taken those things and made them my own. But really my mission is to share with people that if I can pick up a paintbrush with no experience whatsoever and create things that are getting into shows, and I'm in a lot of collections, private, public, and I have a couple galleries that are representing me out of actually nowhere.
It's incredible. In such a short period of time.
It's so short, not even a year.
Right. And it's not even aging, but at any age, at any point of your life, as you said, you can reinvent yourself. You can open new doors, you could pursue your passions, and that's what we're super grateful for, not only because you're a local artist with your studio here inside the Great Project in Mass District where we're shooting this podcast from, but you're a great person. We've become good friends and had you out at our YOLO pop-up, the Choose 954 Local Artist Discovery Series.
That was so fun. You should all come to that YOLO painting.
Yeah.
All the artists, they paint in front of you, and you can join in and you can experience, and it's really beyond great. I also want to say that I am an intuitive artist. I stand in front of a blank canvas and I take about 3 or 4 minutes not knowing what I'm going to do. Decide on my palette, lay it out, and it's the way in which I feel that day. Put it on canvas.
And I think I can see that reflected in some of the colors and some of the color palettes you've selected. And since we are fortunately enough in your studio, for those that are seeing this podcast on video, why don't you tell us a little bit about maybe this piece here and a little bit about your style and what goes into it.
Okay, so this is probably 7 to 8 layers. And what happens here is I want to do like a street art vibe. Okay, so I start with a background. It's a heavy duty background and there's a lot going on in the background. Then I kind of tame it down and I figure composition, line, form, balance, and how I can make something exciting yet in a way that will carry your eye from the bottom to the top, and in a way that there's a lot of things to look at. And a lot of people say they see many different things in my pieces, which is kind of cool. Now, one of the marks of a good piece of abstract art is if you turn it all 4 ways and there's a balance. If you ever buy a piece of work and you turn it and turn it and turn it and it never looks good on turn 3 or turn 2, it only looks on turn 1, it's not a finished piece.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this was a really happy day. I don't know if you guys can see
Yeah,
this.
they can see that one actually.
Okay. This was like a happy day. I was
Flowers.
all inspired by like light, and look how different this is. But again, with the repetitive layer upon layer, because it makes it really interesting, and it's something that you can actually look at for a very long time and always see something different,
Right.
which is what I'm an art collector as well, and is what the kinds of things that I like to look at, the kinds of things that I would install in my house, or the kinds of things in which I paint.
How many layers are on that piece?
Probably 9.
Amazing.
Yeah.
When you really dive into it, you can see from the white to the
Yeah.
to the yellow to the blue to
There's
the purple.
so much fun going on in this. And then I'll also do something incredibly simple. It's funny because the piece that they selected for the Art Fort Lauderdale is so simple, but really cool. I used a gorgeous gold, and if you light it, it just pops. I don't know how I did it. The other issue is I can only do things once, and then I can never do them again.
But that also means that they're one of one.
They are one of one. And people want me to print these pieces, but I don't want to. I want one of one, and one of one, and one of one, and one of one.
And you brought up an interesting point when you were mentioning your experience with the private collection, and you wish you could have acquired, obviously, a Basquiat back at that time.
Nothing from nothing.
Correct. And I think that's a very interesting opportunity that we've created with the art fair, especially since we've made the model primarily independent artists. We've tried to flip the art fair model on its head, whereas the majority of all of the fairs during Miami Art Week, or really around the world, are primarily gallery driven. It's very tough
very different
for an independent artist, with the barrier of entry being so high, without not being able to get into a Miami Art Week fair for less than $2,000. It's very tough for you to really discover local artists unless you come to
No, this is a gift.
Correct.
We're giving a gift. And if they are lucky enough to get juried in, it's just great. And what a wonderful day to spend in a beautiful situation. They have a bar with Moet.
Yes, we're actually gonna have some really interesting special Moet experiences with Moet's bringing an engraving installation that you can actually have a personalized bottle of Moet. It's going to be a really interesting thing. So that's just part of what you can experience at Art Fort Lauderdale, January 24th through the 27th, 2019. But I really feel, very, very passionate, obviously, very grateful that we're able to create this platform to highlight and showcase some talented local artists, so you can collect a Jacki Rosen while she is a year into her painting career, while she is still emerging, because who knows, in 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, and your pieces have 5x, 10x in price.
But what I do suggest to any art collector, because I work with them, is you only buy what you love.
Agreed, 100%.
Only buy what you love, and if it goes up in value, that's terrific. But it's really the value in which you place on the piece, how much you enjoy looking at it, how you feel about the artist. I think the mission of an artist is even more important than their technique. You want to know who they are, why they do what they do, and what is their goal, what's their 5-year plan, their 10-year plan. You can learn a lot in an Art Fort Lauderdale situation because you have the opportunity to meet with the artists, and they want to share.
Correct.
And they're warm, and they're giving, and they're excited to talk to you. So I just think this is the way I buy art.
Amen. And we also, if you come on a day where maybe that artist isn't there, we'll have books printed of all of their bios. I've gotten to know pretty much the majority of the artists and be glad to share insights and whatever background stories I can provide. Because we are really wanting to connect buyers, culture seekers, collectors alike with these talented local, national, and international artists participating. Since you mentioned you do have a few other things going on, aside from your studio here inside of the great project inside of our Mass District Art District in Fort Lauderdale, where else can they find your work?
Well, on Mac Gallery.
Oh, nice.
I'm doing they selected me for their curatorial section on their website.
Great.
I've got about 11 private collectors, and I've done a number of commissioned pieces. After 4 months, someone asked me to do a 4-foot by 6-foot piece.
Holy.
When they paid me, that was the most fun I had with my clothes on.
Oh, Jacki.
I was so excited, and then she was a hairdresser, so she gave me cash and 1s and 5s, and oh my God, and she was so excited, she was crying, and it was beautiful, and one of the best days of my life.
That's the power of art. Just one example of the power of art, and now she's going to have a memory and a piece that'll last forever.
Right.
And you have that memory and experience and connection with her.
And I found out, because I always ask people, what is it that you've always wanted to be that you haven't done? Either from a kid or the last year or whatever it is. Oh, I've always wanted to write. So now she's journaling and she's sharing with me.
Incredible.
And that's really what I want to do. I want people to realize it's never too late, it's never too early. Let's figure out what we want to do and just start slowly.
Yeah.
And do it, and look what you can accomplish.
And as you can see, Jacki's obviously very grounded, down to earth, very approachable. As I mentioned, and just mention again, Her studio is located in our Mass District Burgeoning Arts District in downtown Fort Lauderdale in Flagler Village. You can make an appointment, you can reach out to her, you can come by during one of our art walks the last Saturday night of the month, every month for free.
Tonight.
Happens to be tonight as well.
Right.
And, you know, have a conversation with her, you know, maybe create a piece with her, maybe.
I love that. I love for people to come in. I give them an apron. I lay out all my tools. You know, I do a lot of, I take sticks, I take things that people use to lay grout. I mean, I just use the most unusual objects, yeah, in which to paint. And I show people, and everyone's able to create something beautiful if they just stop, spend the time, and let me help them, because I want everyone deserves to have a beautiful piece that they've made by themselves and something they can be proud of.
And I was just gifted a very nice Jacki Rosen original Montoya spray can custom beautiful piece, which I'm going to cherish. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. We have more coming for Evan.
Amen.
Evan is really such a supporter of the arts that there are very few people like this that just do this from their heart. They want to see everyone. They want to see us all succeed, and they want to create a place in which we can all enjoy. I'm telling you, Art Fort Lauderdale was one of the best things I did in the last year, 2 years. And to spend that day, it's so much work, because I'm someone who understands and appreciates how much work goes into Art Fort Lauderdale, that it's a not miss for everybody. If you miss it, you have any inclination to view art in any particular time in your life, these are the days. The dates are
January 24th through 27th, 2019. Tickets and more information can be found at www.artftlauderdale.com. That's www.artftlauderdale.com.
yes.
And I really appreciate you saying that, because you are really a prototypical example of why between why Andrew and myself started Art Fort Lauderdale. We found there was a big void. We didn't have a major 40 art fair
Right.
in Fort Lauderdale, and we as culture seekers and appreciators and collectors shouldn't have to go to the north and the south to view and interact with art. And furthermore, our talented local artists shouldn't have to go other places. The other thing that we feel very grateful for now is we wanted to put Fort Lauderdale as part of our mission statement on the map. And this last month we've been very fortunate to have been included in some articles from Forbes.
That's amazing.
Architectural Digest.
I'm so proud of you. I really am. I think that's awesome.
It's a beautiful thing.
Architectural Digest too.
Architectural Digest. It's a beautiful thing, and part of the why behind that is, once again, we want to have Fort Lauderdale on the map as an international destination to view and interact with art. We've since created Fort Lauderdale Art and Design Week, which you're also going to be a part of, as a week full.
I am?
You are.
Tell me.
As a week full of satellite fairs, pop-up exhibits, artist studio tours, pop-up dinners, after parties, artist talks, panel discussions, an architectural fair, and a bunch of other events. So it's going to be a week full of discovery of the cultural institutions and the artists that make Fort Lauderdale great. You'll be able to find Jacki in the Stash Studio here in the Great Project in Mass District on Thursday, January the 24th. We've created the Mass District Resident Artist Open Studio Tour Night for free. So on a non-art walk night where it's going to be a little bit more intimate, you'll be able to come discover Jacki, discover a bunch.
Can I serve champagne?
You can serve champagne
and cheese.
And
I want to have fun.
And probably an
with my
opportunity for people
Oh,
to collaborate and paint with you.
I love that.
So you can find out more information on Fort Lauderdale Art and Design Week. We've shortened the acronym to FTLADW. So www.FTLADW #FTLADW19. You can find out more on social medias. You can find out more. Where can they find you on social media?
The Stash Studio.
But of course.
So I have one more question.
Please.
Okay, I know you're having a VIP event like the night before, and that sounds killer. Can you tell me about that? Because I'm definitely going.
Thank you so much for asking. So we have a vernissage preview, a private guided tour guided by the curator, my partner, the co-founder and director of the fair, Andrew Martineau, and myself take a group of collectors and VIPs on a private tour the day before the fair opens to the public, Wednesday, January 23rd.
Can they buy that night?
You can buy that day, and there are limited tickets remaining if
Right.
you do want to attend. That night, January 23rd, Wednesday, is our VIP opening reception party at Pier 66 Hotel Marina at the pool. That's pretty much our only major fundraiser for the year. We do have all the participating artists come, our sponsors, VIPs, county commissioners, city commissioners, the mayor.
You're getting some press on that night, I'm sure.
We've gotten some good hits on that night. It really has been one of the parties of the year. So you get to meet Jacki there and all the participating artists. And if you want a way to support Art Fort Lauderdale, we sincerely appreciate
That's
supporting in the form of buying a ticket. You can find out more. That's the Art Fort Lauderdale Vernissage
I'm
preview.
buying.
How about that? And you'll be able to see Jacki at the fair Wednesday, January 24th through the 27th. We'll also, I don't think I told you this yet.
Tell me.
We're gonna have some special limited seating pairing dinners and
Oh,
brunches with the artists,
how lovely.
where collectors are going to be able to select a participating artist that they like to have dinner or brunch with
Oh, that's a wonderful idea.
at some of the restaurants.
Can somebody come and select me?
I think so.
What if I don't get picked?
Not everybody's going to be able to get picked.
I have to
unfortunately.
get picked.
You're going to get picked. Thankfully, you got a bunch of collectors.
Yes.
We're going to have one at the Conrad on the beach, W Fort Lauderdale, and the Ritz-Carlton. Those will take place after the fair ends on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night of that week, January 24th, 25th, and 26th. You can find out more information, once again, www.artftlauderdale.com. Don't hesitate to reach out to me, Evan Snow, co-founder and managing partner of Art Fort Lauderdale. I'm an open book, as you've seen. You can follow me along on social medias. Follow Jacki along at the Stash Studio, and we look forward to having you join us for Art
I'm
Fort
so
Lauderdale.
proud of you.
I really appreciate that, and I'm proud of you
A
too.
lot of work,
How
dude.
about that?
Love it.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
See you guys soon.
Thanks so much.